Okay, so we're standing in my little studio area. I have two rooms here. This room where I have my amps and my drums, and then the other room is the control room. As far as what did I use on the record, I used this 412 cabinet right here. As you can see, it's a Marshall cabinet. And believe it or not, the majority of the guitar sounds as far as the amplification was this amp here, which is made by Cornford. We did this amp together back in 2004. You see it has my signature on it. It's a signature model amp. Unfortunately, it's not in production anymore. But when I was going through all the amps trying to get tone, I went back to this and pulled it out, and I realized that it just sounds pretty badass. And so that amp is the majority, not all of it, but a good chunk of what you're hearing on the Winery Dog record. When you're not hearing that, I have a Marshall hand-wired plexi that's orange that matches this, but it's not here right now, so I can't show it to you. But that amp was used on the record as well. In addition to, for example, there's a song called Ghost Town, and on that song I used two amps together. I used this little Marshall, which I love this amp. It's called a 1974X, and it just records wonderfully. It's not very loud, but it's simple. Two knobs, volume, tone, and you can get so many different sounds out of that amp. So for the song Ghost Town, I wanted this kind of big, floating kind of sound. So I linked that with this amp over here, which is called a Vibrolux, Fender Vibrolux, another one of my favorite amps. And so I didn't have it on the cabinet. They were both, that was on the ground with that. I had a microphone on that, one on that, and I think I had a couple room mics as well. And so with this amp we had the reverb happening, and then with that amp we had the tremolo happening. And so it was stereo, and it kind of has this kind of cool stereo imaging effect with those two amps. It's also on the song Spiral. I'm playing this kind of like kind of open chordal type thing, and so I used this on that. And this is an amp that I actually put together. I ordered it on the internet. It came in pieces. It was a kit, and so I looked at the schematic and I was able to figure out what went where. I ordered a case online, and my daughter scribbled a bunch of nonsense on it. And this is an amp that I actually used to gig with around town. Is this one here. This is the guitar that you've been seeing me use live now for, I don't know, the last 6 or 7 years at least. And it's basically, it's one of my signature models, like right off the rack. The only thing I do to the guitar is I sand the finish off the neck. I put this drop D tuner on here, which lately I really very rarely even use anymore. So I could live without that at this point, but it's on there. It's something I used to use years ago. And then the other thing that I did was I put a tuner on there. So this switch turns the tuner on and off. It's an onboard tuner that just makes life easy for me when I'm in the dressing room, for example, and I bang into the wall with the guitar, or I trip, or somebody bumps into me, or some other kind of situation. I can check my tuning without being a movie, you know.